Good morning and welcome to our live trading for safe option strategies for today, Tuesday, May the 5th, very famously referred to as Cinco de Mayo, at least throughout Latin America and throughout the United States, we call it Cinco de Mayo. Glad to have you here on a day when the market is up. We've got right now, as we speak, the Dow Jones is up about 350 points. I think that's pretty close to its session high. NASDAQ up 153, S&P up 45. We've got news. It's weird because more and more the news that has been pushing the markets is less of the doom and gloom. Even yesterday, there wasn't a lot of new doom and gloom news, so to speak. The markets we've mentioned several times, these markets really want to be bullish, and key in on this word reopening right here. I mean, that's really what is pushing things this morning as much or more than anything else. Is people want to see our economy open back up. People want to see stores open back up. People want to be able to go places without fear. People want to be able to, get back to some sense of a normal life pre-pandemic. And that's what you're seeing on these updates. There is going to be, you can't discount the fact that if there is any news that relates to vaccines or relates to things that may be speeding up the end of, or at least what some people might consider the containment of this virus, that's going to be good news and positive, and be a reason for more buyers than sellers. This information doesn't hurt. ISM non-manufacturing index. I believe this is one of those indexes that any number below a 50 is contraction, anything above a 50 is expansion. But it's the difference. It's the fact that we were, even though it's only by a little bit, it's the fact that we were a little bit better than what analysts were expecting. Once again, analysts were dead wrong on what they thought was going to happen, and therefore we're having it as a positive sign. A lot more earnings taking place. We've got Disney that will report after the bell today, after the closing bell. A lot more companies that report throughout this week. We'll continue to get that read on, how bad were things? Were they worse than what we thought? Were they better than what we thought? It's been a little bit of a mixed bag. It's we're still a little bit more, I think, in a I don't know what you would call it. I guess this is what they refer to. I guess this is what is referred to as that L-shaped recovery. We got for a couple of weeks or 2-3 weeks, it looked like a V-shaped recovery. But now when you kind of stretch that out longer term, that looks a little bit more like an L that's just kind of tipped on its side a little bit. And the longer we go at a steady, slow rise like this, we got this sharp movement to the upside. If we don't have a pullback back down to the 20,000 to 21,000 range on the Dow, and I'm still predicting it'll happen. I've gone from 65% to 63.79% in terms of what I think the odds are of it happening. I go down just a little bit more every day that it doesn't happen. But there's still that chance that we get that one more correction, and that's what would create possibly that W shape. That's what people would refer to as that W-shaped recovery. But if we just kind of continue on a path like this, let me erase some of these other marks. We talk so much about the virus and the number of cases and the number of deaths, and we've referred to a flattening curve. We're getting a flattening curve right here if you look at this. And if we continue to get this flattening curve, and even if we continue to recover, but it's at a very slow pace like this, that's kind of what people are thinking is that L-shaped recovery, more of an L-shape than a V-shape. And that just, for these last couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, that's what kind of seems to be happening. And time will tell. But we'll take whatever recovery there is. I'm going to go, let me jump into our new spread trade. Let's go to that first. Let me get this on the correct page here. So these are the exact prices that my trade opened. It's down just, you know, ever so fractionally right now. That oftentimes is the case when you open a brand new spread trade, that it is to the downside, and that's just because of bid-ask prices. That it's oftentimes to the downside. We're doing so well in our Q and our diamond trade. Let me put in the up to the moment, literally the up to the second numbers in the Q trade and the diamond trade with the indexes up today. This is now at 33.57. This open leg is at 13.77. So you can see we're up to 80% return on this trade now. Fantastic return on a spread trade. And if we go to the diamond one, it was up only 18%, but it's having a great move to the upside today on the movement of the Dow. So this is now at 18.15, and this open leg is at 115. So we've jumped from 18% to 29% profit on this trade, just, you know, right in the early goings of today's session. This spider trade is essentially the same trade. It's the same kind of trade, and our expectation is the same. I would love to just see a gradual move up on the SPX. It won't on the SPY. I doubt the move to the upside over the course of the next little while is going to be. I doubt it will be without some bumps along the way. If we manage to get into the month of June and had not gone over 290, we get to the point where maybe we let this expire, either allow this to continue to go up. If the markets are in a steady bullish move, we allow it to continue to go up, maybe without putting a new short call in place. Maybe we get close to the June 19th expiration and add a new short call or roll this short call out and up. We did that with the Q trade, and you see how profitable we are on the Q trade. And ultimately, even if we had to roll this a couple of times, we roll it out, we roll it up, we increase the spread between these, and there'd be nothing wrong. This is a high target exit for us. We don't often target these higher exit prices, so this is a high one for absolute certain. That doesn't mean that if in the next week or two we're seeing a 20, 25, 30% return by just closing the trade, doesn't mean we can't just close it. I mentioned in the email that I sent last night that if this is for some people, this is a more expensive trade. I mean, $17.75 to just do one contract costs $1,775 to do one contract. You know, for some portfolios, that's nothing, and people will go out and do 8 or 9 or 10 or 20 contracts. For others, they might not even be able to do one contract of that with the other trades that are still open. So that's the reason why I mentioned in the email that if you needed to free up some cash in your portfolio to close this one, or to open this one, excuse me, close the Q trade. The current value of it is phenomenal. I mean, it's got $1,100 profit in it. So the current value of the trade is absolutely fantastic at an 80% return. Jump out of this one if you need to free up some capital to be able to get into the other one. This is a great trade to be in. And even at the prices, mine filled almost instantly, almost the second the market opened, it filled, because both options, the long and the short leg, both jumped up a little bit on the opening prices of the market, but they did so at the same time, so it was able to fill. The current entry, you could get in at 1760. I got in at 1775, right at the limit order. That's the only little bit of a bummer of my trade, is I got in right at the limit order, but it's still a good trade at that price, and you could get in for 10, 12, maybe 15 cents lower than that right now, making it still a fantastic trade to get into if you're not already in right at the open this morning. So, and throughout the day, if you want to try and get in at 1760, 1765, put that order in place as a limit order of say 1765, and then leave it in place all day long. I think there's a good chance that you'll fill on that. So that's our new spread trade. Zoom is trading just fractionally to the upside. There's not really anything we need to talk about with Zoom today. Both of these are a little bit improved. We already went over the Q and the diamond trade. Disney will report after the market today. They were down a little bit right in the opening minutes, dropped down to 101. Now they're up to 104. And Apple, this is we got a rally on Apple after Apple being down and then being up and then coming back down. Apple's finishing price yesterday, if you look at this, they finished with a little bit of a rally to the upside, and that gives us, this is what I was waiting for with Apple to make an adjustment. We will make an adjustment after the close of the market today for Apple, but most of the day, Apple stayed right in this neighborhood, right around where it closed the day before on Friday last week. And because of how much it gave up during the day on Friday after where it peaked out, I was a little bit worried about, could Apple turn and go bearish, and could we see a trend that's, maybe was this the beginning of bringing it back down this way? There were even parts of the day yesterday that I thought that might be the case, where it was going to tail down like that. They finished strong and finished towards the upside. They've started with a nice move up today, and that gives me the confidence that now we will take that 275, 280 bull put calendar. We'll start by just rolling the 280 straight out in time, matching it up with the same expiration date as the 275, initially leaving it at the same strike price, because we don't know that Apple couldn't falter a little bit and pull back a little bit. So we'll pick up some credit there. That credit we pick up there is going to help us roll that short call that's deep in the money and just get it out in time and up to a higher strike price than the long call. Much in the same way we adjusted the Zoom trades to get them back, to a much smaller loss or closer to a break even. We'll do that with the call side of the Apple trade, and then we should be in really good shape moving forward from there. We'll be able to still adjust both legs and continue to move the call side out and up if the stock continues to rise, and we can move the put side out and up. Maintaining no difference in the the same distance in the strike prices. So we won't add to our risk or change that. Although there's a possibility that if we can roll the call side out and actually increase the spread a little bit, we'll do something like that. So we will make an adjustment to Apple today. And then whatever we do with Apple, you may see it as a precursor to what we're going to end up doing with Disney after the earnings. Disney, we got to move. Apple, we were able to give it a couple of days. I hope with Disney, there's something a little more definitive, a little more concrete in that first day movement. I would love to have seen on the day Apple reported, instead of peaking up here and coming all the way down here and then finishing close to being in the middle, I would have liked to have seen just a finish up here or a finish down here, and it would have been easier to make an adjustment to Apple, going into yesterday morning instead of waiting an extra day. Disney, we don't quite have that same luxury of waiting. That doesn't mean we have to make an adjustment today. What it really means is that we've got short options on Disney that expire at the end of next week, and we want to not let either of them expire in the money. And the Disney short puts are close, they're deep enough in the money already that we'll need to make a quick adjustment on those so the stock is not put to us. So that's the plan with Disney and Apple. Two people have asked a similar question about getting into Apple or Disney on the adjustments that we make. Let me throw this out there in response to that question, because two of you have almost exactly the same question. I would say when we make the adjustment to Apple, there may be one side of the trade that I would recommend getting into, but it's unlikely that I would recommend getting into a bull call and a bear put at the same time, or excuse me, a bull call and a bull put, because that's what we'll end up with. I don't think I would recommend doing both at the same time, but I might very possibly recommend doing one or the other, and then the same thing with Disney. So that's where we're at with those trades. Let's jump over here for a moment to collar trades. Really, the main update on collar trades is Square. As Square opened this morning, the fill price of rolling this call. Now they're having a $2.78 move to the upside. So we just rolled to a 64 strike put to make sure we're covered going into earnings tomorrow. And all of a sudden, instead of just, at the close last night, they were a little bit below 64, but futures were pointing up just a bit. Now, all of a sudden, they're up, almost $3, trading at 66. 240. So this is the I paid, instead of paying, I think we gave a limit order of up to 230, because we were rolling from 57.50 up to 64. I mean, that's what is that? $6.50. $6.50 that we're moving the put strike price up $6.50 and only paying around $2.30 a share for it. That's a lot of additional value in the stock that is being covered going into this earnings for a reasonable price. Obviously it does add money to the overall cost per share of the trade, but it only changed it for me. It only changed it by $1.88 instead of 240. So this 52.33 plus $1.88, we changed our average cost per share here to 54.21, and so we're still nicely profitable already in our square trade. And I thought about, if Square were to have some news that really catapulted to the upside, we certainly could have adjusted this and moved this strike price farther out of the money, but we only have, well, I guess we've got the June 2022 options are available if we wanted to roll to there. If we were to close the January 15th, 2021 67.50, if we were to buy to close those, and then sell to open the June 17th, 2022, and let's say we moved up to 72.50. See, we can't actually, we could actually move that up to, we go up a ways farther than I thought. We could go back above 80. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going clear out to June of 2022. I wanted to go to June of 2021. Forgive me. I'm on a different screen doing this. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, now these prices look. I was in the wrong expiration year, which is not a good thing. So even, let's see. I've got everything wrong on this. Give me a moment. So we could go to a 70 strike. Then okay. So here's what I'm doing on a different screen. Let me come back to the screen that you can see. So I'm looking at this January 15th, 2021 67.50 call, and I'm looking at closing that, buying to close that, and then what the idea is: get this to a higher strike price so that if Zoom pops up tomorrow on their earnings or the next day after their earnings, they have a pop to the upside. We're not feeling like we're held in check, only $1 higher than what the stock is currently trading. In other words, give that thing at least a little bit more room to move. So going out in time to the June 2021 options, okay, it would be June 18th, 2021. We could go to the 70 strike and pick up a credit almost only 20 cents different from the debit that we spent to roll out our long puts. So that's a credit we could pick up going to the 70 strike. If we were to take it out to the 72.50 strike, we could still get a 58-cent per share credit. So we're not paying for this recent roll of the long put. We're only paying for a little portion of it, but we're giving the stock, and that's to the 72.50 strike. We're giving the stock a little more than $5 more room to move up, which when the stock is trading down around $66 a share, $5 divided by $66.40, that we're giving it another 7.5% that it could move up. And it's not that we cannot still adjust it at that point in time. It's not that we can't still adjust it. It's that we're giving it that much more room to move before being called away. We're giving ourselves 7.5% more profit before being called away. And it's an incredibly long shot that we would get called away. The odds of getting called away are incredibly slim, but in theory, if the stock price jumped up above 72.50, you could get called away at 72.50. Even out in June of 2021, even not that far out in expiration, it's feasible that you could get called away and have the stock taken from you. And if you added another 7.5% on top of the 19% we already have, and you consider the time that we got into this trade, that's a pretty good setup. We had little to no risk the entire time we've been in this trade, little to no risk, and we could theoretically be called away and get out of this trade with a little shy of 30%, and that's fantastic. That's the whole purpose of collar trade. That's the whole reason that we collar trade. And look, we would have been in the trade for I believe we entered this one for the very first time, I want to say October. Didn't we go into square just ahead of the October earnings of last year? So in theory, you could be, and again, it's a long shot that you'd be called away. But the other thing to keep in mind is that if you roll this out to these June expirations, and even if you only took in that 50-cent credit to go up to the 72.50, you don't have to wait to be called away at 72.50. If the stock price goes up, you might see that go from 19 to 20 to 22 to 23, and that would be reflective of if you manually close the whole trade, even if that meant taking a loss on the short calls. You have enough profit on the stock that it more than offsets what you're losing on the short calls, and then turn those existing long puts into a bull put spread if you're able to do that. There's different choices you have at that point in time. So I think anyone right off the top of your head, I'm kicking. Listen, I make mistakes. I'm kicking myself now that I didn't roll the short call with the adjustment last night. Anybody off the top of their head know if Square is reporting tomorrow before the market opens or after it closes? Any one of you that are on with me live right now, do you remember if there's Square right there? Okay, 4:05 p.m. So it's an aftermarket report. Thank you, Dan. You were on top of that and typing in just about the same time I was finding it. So they report after. Okay, so I'm going to send, I feel bad that I didn't do this in one shot. I'm going to send an additional adjustment out tonight for Square. And those of you that are on live with me right now, if you're in the Square trade, I'm going to tell you without hesitation, for a credit of it, use a limit credit order of at least 50 cents a share. Get at least 50 cents. Don't settle for less than that. The mid price right now is 60. You should be able to get filled for 50 cents, but buy to close the 67.50 call that's in January and sell to open the June 18th. Whoops, I about made that a July. That's an ugly looking word, June there. The June 18th, 2021, 72.50 strike price. So you're going to roll from this one, $5 up in strike price to go from 67.50 to 72.50. You're going to go out 6 months from the January to the June and take in at least a 50-cent per share credit. And I like that setup a little bit better going into the earnings report. I like that setup just a little bit better. So if you're in the Square trade, now everyone who's not on with me live right now and has to listen to this recording later in the day, don't worry, you're not going to miss out on this adjustment. Just do it for tomorrow morning's open. Even if Square's prices are a little bit different, the increase or decrease in the short calls that you're going to roll should be close to the same for the January ones and the June 2021s. So if you're listening to this later in the day and you feel like you've maybe missed out on doing this, I don't think that'll be the case. But for those of you that are with me live right now, if you have the ability to jump on and make this adjustment, if you're in the Square trade, I would do it right now. I would go from the 67.50 to the 72.50 Junes and make that a part of your adjustment. And I think you'll be better set for tomorrow's earnings report. Okay, now I'm going to take a minute. For those, I know you got an email late last night from Dave. I have brought it up a couple of times in these live classes, and I've traded emails or text messages with a number of you who have had username and password issues. I am so delighted that we finally have the fix for this. It will take a couple of days. I think Dave mentioned this in the email he sent last night. It'll take us 2-3 more days to be completely 100% ready to lock the members only part of the website up the way we want to have it locked up. Right now, if some non-student of Safe Option Strategies was clever enough, they could get access to everything. But I think it would be hard for them to find it or figure out where it is. But even if they were to get temporary access of that by the end of this week or no later than over the weekend, their access would be cut off, because we are going to manually approve each registration to make sure that it is a paying student, a student who has paid for the program, and either still has a lifetime membership, or if they purchased a 1-year membership, make sure they're still within that 1 year. So I'm going to take a few minutes now in this live presentation this morning, and I'm going to switch pages here and switch screens. All right, and I'm going to walk you through this, because I know that email went out middle of the night last night, although I had four of my 25 or 30 students from Australia have already done this. So the Australia guys were right on top of this. And then this morning, I've had a couple more of my students that are in different places in the U.S. and some other countries that jumped on it this morning. But sometime during the next few days, I need everyone to do this. And anyone who doesn't do this may find themselves once again temporarily locked out of the website. Although, even if you find that being the case, it should be fairly easy for you to regain your access and to do it pretty quickly. So here's what I want everybody to do. Number one, I want you to notice that, let me go back to my pointer. I want you to notice that this is a URL that you either need to get off the email that Dave sent, or you need to type in this full URL by yourself. And okay, hang on a second. It's not showing you. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, I'm circling it just to make sure. I know it's really small up there, but I have to do this with the mouse, so this isn't going to look really good. So you're basically, what you need to type in is Safe Option. I'm going to struggle with this with the mouse. Safe Option Strategies. Make sure you spell it right, even if I don't. .com/ and then the word member. Okay. Safe, and then you can put another slash right there. You don't need to. It'll go to it either way. But you either have to click on the link that was in the body of David's email. Let me know if you didn't get that email late. It went out, I think, around 11:30 my time. It would have been like, I think, 1:30 on the East Coast in the morning that email would have gone up. So it would have been one that you woke up to this morning. Most people would have woke up to it this morning. So you either click right on that link in that email, or you just type this in. And I know that looks really crummy and really hard to read, but it's just safeoptionstrategies.com/member, not members with an S, member singular. Okay. You're going to end up on a page that looks no different than what you've been accustomed to being on. We are in the process right now of getting all this information filled in, all the different levels and stuff. We've got to put all the classes in here and so forth. We don't have any of the collar trades in place yet. The majority. Yes, John, I'll resend it to you, John. The majority of this information that's currently not here will get filled in today. The important stuff I wanted was to make sure anyone who went to live trading would see the newest recorded class and have the correct links for registering for and looking at the archive. Those are all working the way they're supposed to. The collar trade stuff will get filled in today. Everything under the education tab will get filled in today. But for purposes of working usernames and passwords that we no longer want anyone to have issues or problems or struggles with, This is new. This is something you have not seen before. Let me circle it over here where it says user profile. Right now, on this particular site, this is the only page that is actually locked out. So if you click on user profile, okay, I'm already logged in. Sorry, I'm already logged into it. So let me do this a different way. Hang on, I'm going to do this from a different browser real quick. Let me switch you back over here. I forgot that I was already logged in, and I want to show you how to register the first time. Okay, so if I type in here safeoptionstrategies.com, and then behind here I put /MEMBER. And you can, this is auto filling right here because I've already been to this spot. So I'm going to take this part out of it because I just want to go, I want to go in exactly the order you're going to go in. Okay, you're going to go to safeoptionstrategies.com/member. You're going to go over here and click on user profile. And your existing login information that you have right now will not work on this page. I need you to scroll down and register as a new user. So if I wanted my username to be Jeff, I can any username I want. I could in fact a lot of you like to have your username be the same as your email address. A lot of you would prefer that your username is the same as your email address. So if I wanted to do one of my personal email addresses and register as jsdunyan@gmail.com, that's an email address that I use. I only need your first and last name here. Okay, if you want to fill this information in, it's going to stay private. It's going to stay with us. We are never going to share this with anyone ever. So please don't worry about that. Remember, this is my member site. I'm not giving away your guys' information to anybody. You don't have to put any of this stuff in. You do need to put in your email address. And you need to confirm it. We want you to be sure. Okay, and then this is the best thing. This is the thing that we're so overdue on. I've wanted to have this in place for such a long period of time, and we finally have the ability for you to choose your own password. We're not going to assign passwords anymore. So I can choose whatever password I want right here. Whoops, I typoed it myself. Okay, I'm going to confirm it. Dave tells me there's a way to get that little eyeball out here that will let you see the password you type in just to be sure. He says there's a way to do that. I haven't figured it out yet. He'll maybe add that to it. But regardless, you'll receive your own email, or you'll receive your password in an email. So once I've got this information in, I'm going to hit register. Now initially, my password didn't match. I got to do it again. All right, let's try it again. I typoed it again. Okay, hopefully that worked that time. Hit register. Okay, this is what you're going to see. Thank you for registering. Once your membership is approved, you will be notified you can log in using the credentials you set up. So once you've done this and you see this message, don't do anything else. As quickly as we see these come through, Dave and I will approve them. Like I said earlier, we're just going to make absolutely certain the first time we go through this process, we want to be absolutely certain that we're only registering people that are in fact members of the program. So be a little bit patient with us. None of this stuff for a couple of days at least, none of this stuff is locked out. You don't even need your username or password for any of this stuff. None of it's locked. Only this page right here is locked out. And then that will change probably on Friday or sometime over the weekend. Then you won't even be able to get to this page, to the members homepage, unless you have a registered username and profile. But if yours is not already in place, if your username and profile is not already in place, you'll get that opportunity. You'll go to the member homepage and you will be given that opportunity to register. So it's not like you'll be forever, forever locked out of the website. Don't anybody worry about that happening. Okay, now let me show you what's happening on kind of the back end. So I'm going to quickly, for just a moment, log into my Gmail. If I go to my Gmail account, look at that email right there. Thank you for registering for Safe Option Strategies. And here's the username and password that I just set up. You may want to keep this page or this email. You may want to keep this email so that you can refer back to this as needed. Okay, this is a good email to keep. Now, without you guys seeing it, Dave or I will now go to the back end of the website. That's what we refer to it as, is the back end of the website. I'm going to a little panel on there that says users. Oh, and I see a whole bunch, Darlene, Abraham, Dan, you guys have all done it just in the time we've been talking. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for doing this. So I'm going to the one that I just created for myself, if I can find it. You see, mine's back a couple of pages now. There it is. Okay, so I'm clicking activate on mine, and trust me, I'll do the same thing for all of yours, or Dave may be in the process of doing it already. I just clicked activate on mine, and watch what's going to happen on my inbox. I just got a new email in my inbox. Look at that. Hallelujah. And guess what? Your registration for Safe Option Strategies has been approved. Now, I'm not sure, this is something that we may be able to fix. This is something that may be changeable. Dave and I were up late last night working on this and testing it and trying the different email addresses that we have. And for some weird reason, on this confirmation email, we could not get the password to fill in right here. So you'll get it on that. That's why I said, hang on to that first email that you got, because we couldn't get the password to fill in right here, only the new username. And I'm not sure why that's the case. I honestly do not know why that's the case. We'll continue playing with it. So it may end up that both the emails you get, we may be able to make it possible so that both the emails you get will save that. See here, it's got the password when it says thank you for registering, but when we get the one that says congratulations, you're registered, it doesn't show the password. We may be able to work. That's a little kink. I'm not too worried about that. That's a little kink. And one of the reasons I'm not too worried about it is this. Now, when I go back to the page that I was on where I registered, it's just thinking about it up here. Is that still what's on your screen? I need to make sure that's still, yeah, okay. Now I can log in with what I just created, and I made my email address my username, because I do that on a lot of other websites. Okay, so if you want to do that or whatever, now I'm going to type in the password. Now you have to do this one time. This is kind of to verify. This is one of those verification things that you're not a robot, because people put spam stuff out there and it's weird, and they create these Autobots or whatever, I don't know what they're called. They create these robots that go out and try and flood your emails with things like this. This is to verify that I'm actually a human being doing this. So 10 plus 20 is 30. Now, I would strongly recommend when you get to this point, you check this button that says remember me. At least, I believe we have it set up so that for the next 90 days, you will not even need to re-enter your email. If you go back to this page from the same computer, you will get right in with this information being auto-populated when you get here, so that you just have to click login. And you may have to do this. We'll check this throughout the day. You may have to do this each time you log in, but this stuff will auto-populate if you've hit the remember me thing. We didn't test that, and I don't know why, but that's something we're going to test this morning for sure. Okay, so I'm going to hit remember me, and I'm going to hit log in. And now I'm on this page without it being locked out. And this is my favorite part of everything. I've wanted this functionality on our website for so long. Can you tell I'm excited about it? Here's my favorite part. you can now go in and edit your own information. Guess what? If you want us to have your address so that we can send you a birthday or a Christmas card every year, you can go in and fill it in here. You know what? I usually go by Jeffrey, and I can just automatically fill all this stuff in. I can do this myself. And this is another email address that just filled in, so I want to make sure I put this back the way it was. Okay, and I can update my profile. And now I believe I'll get an email that says my profile was updated. I'll go back and check that in a second, but I believe that will happen. Now, guess what else? It gets better. You can change your password. I can click on change my password, and I can just create a new password. And now I've got a new password, and I update that, and I'll get an email. Make sure that other email didn't go to spam by accident. Nope. Okay. They should be coming. We might have to go back in and double check this and make sure that you get the email that says your password has changed. I'm not seeing it come across, but that's because a whole bunch of you are registering right now. I see the box is just flooded with people that have registered. But anyway, you should get an email and I'll double check this, but you'll get an email that verifies your changed password. And then if you're on this page and you try to log in, or you come back to your member home and you try and log in and you can't log in, you will have a little link there that says forgot password. And as long as you remember what your password is, you'll be able to go back to it. If I tried to log in right here, let me do my Gmail one there, and I'm going to try and log in with something bogus. I'm just going to type a few things and put in the 25 there and say log in. Login failed. Click here to continue. Oh, I'm still on the same Chrome thing, so it put me back here. This is why I said it may take us a few more days to work out a few little kinks with this, but the bottom line is this. The functionality of this is going to be so nice. If you lose your username or password, you're not going to have to wait for Dave to respond to an email to create a new password for you or set something different up for you. You're going to be able to do that yourself as long as you have your current username and it's an approved username on the site. Then you'll automatically be able to change your password and have that sent to you, edit, manage your profile and so forth. I'm excited about this. This is going to be a permanent fix to the password issues we've been having recently, but it's also adding that functionality. So I'm going to wrap up right now. I covered everything I wanted to cover on the trades, and I wanted to take some time to do this and get this all as a part of the recording. So I think every single one of you that has been on with me live has already done it. I'm literally hitting the activate button on a bunch of these right now. For those of you that are listening to this later in the day, go online and do this, and Dave will get another email out that will he'll get another email out that will encourage everyone to go through this process. John, you still haven't gotten anything. Check your spam folder, John. Check your spam folder. I see a couple of emails that haven't come over here, but Dave and I might need to go in and tweak some things. Yeah, if you didn't get anything, John, check your spam folder and then try it again if you need to. Yeah, re-enter it, and I'll keep an eye out for it. It says I've got 5 that are still pending activation. Let me see. Okay, I'll get through all of these. I like some of these. Now, here's the other thing too. I'm able to see your username. So if you ever got to this screen and you were trying to change a password or edit, or you couldn't remember your password and you wanted to change your password, but you also couldn't remember your username, Dave and I will have visibility to your username. We can now that part we think we still have to do manually. We'll continue to play with that and test that a little bit. We may have to do that part manually, but we'll be able to recover your username, but only you will have access to your password. We will never have access to your password. Now, we will be able to create a temporary password for you at any time we want. We can create a temporary password that will let you get back in so that you can once again go back to this spot and make a change to the password. And we'll be able to recover a username if you just want to do that on your own. But we have a lot of functionality built into this, and we're excited about it. We're archaic when it comes to web building. I've confessed to many of you over time that website design is not our strong point. We're getting better at it, but it's not our strong point. Our goal is to provide you with good trades, to provide you with good education, good customer service, and good follow through, and we do the best we can with the website. But I am quite excited about the new functionality of this, because I've wanted this to bring us out of the dark ages where we've been for so long as it relates to usernames and passwords with website, and make the process so much easier for you. So don't hesitate to email or text or call. I do sound happy about it, don't I, Dan? Don't hesitate to email or text or call if you're having any issues with it getting set up correctly. And like I said, we'll get them approved as quickly as we can. But for right now, you only need that approval just to get to this spot and be able to access the user profile. You don't need it right now for any of this stuff if you go to safeoptionstrategies.com/member instead of the one that was previously there. And by the end of the week or early into the weekend, that will change. Now, one last housekeeping item. What created a lot of this, maybe it's good that we, in a way, maybe it's good that we ran into this username and password issue, because it forced us to be a little more proactive in seeking the longer lasting, better solution to it. So for that reason, it may have been a good thing. But I have absolutely had it with our previous web hosting company. John, I just activated yours, so you should get that follow-up email that shows you're good to go. I've had it with our web hosting company for years. Yahoo Small Business has hosted our website. They were good when we were small. They did what we needed them to do. They were probably one of the more user-friendly, less expensive companies. But on occasions, I've ran into problems with them. There was some of you remember, I think it was November of last year, when everyone was getting errors when they were trying to go to the website, and they were getting errors because of a non-secured site, and some people were kind of spooked away from wanting to go onto the site because they thought it was an unsecured website where their information might be at jeopardy. Yahoo Small Business screwed up on putting the correct name on our digital certificate. That's all it was. There was nothing insecure about the website. Yahoo Small Business just had the wrong business name on our digital certificate. That was a nightmare. I mean, we dealt with them for, I believe it was over the Thanksgiving weekend. So none of them were working. None of their tech people were working. It took way longer than it should have to get that fixed. And I've got a history of the issues that they've worked on and resolved, and they've always taken a long time. So this coming weekend, we are migrating the entire Safe Option Strategies website over to a different hosting company. There is a good possibility that for somewhere between 24 and 48 hours, the website may be down. What we're going to do is start the process really late Friday night. We're going to begin the process very late Friday night. And they say oftentimes the migration of a website only takes a few hours. but they've told us that it can take up to 48 hours. I don't believe that will be the case. I'm not like super worried that we're going to be down for that long. I'm hopeful that I go to bed on Friday night after beginning the process. Their technicians take over the process, and I wake up Saturday morning and everything is working perfectly. That's the hope. We'll see. We're gonna get everything put together that we need to have put together in order to make it as seamless a transition as possible. And then hopefully after this weekend, we will forever be done with Yahoo Small Business. And then over the next day or two after that, we'll, yeah, Abraham, maybe I do. Maybe I do. We're hopeful for a clean transition and a smooth transition. We'll see how it goes. If there are any hiccups with that transition, we will make sure that we are emailing all of our students links so that they can go directly to the YouTube links for these live videos. We'll make sure we email out the link for the live classes directly through GoToWebinar so that you won't be required to go to the website first to get that. If we run into hiccups, we will make sure that all of our students are getting the necessary information that they need to survive for a day or two without the actual website. Okay, so we will not leave anyone hanging on that. We will make certain that you get the information you need and you get it in a timely way. And that's it. That's it. That's what I have for you. So whatever you like to do, if you like to cross your fingers, if you like to knock on wood, if you like to pray, cross yourself, whatever you want to do. Wish us luck in this process. We'll get through it, and we'll make it as smooth as possible for every one of you. That is our number one goal, is to make it as smooth as possible for you. Whatever work we have to do on our end, we just want you guys to get through this quickly, and know that if you run into glitches, if you run into little problems, we are working on it. And chances are, whatever problems you run into, we will be aware of as early on as you are aware of them. And I'm going to end right there, everybody. That's what I have for you. Have a great rest of your day. Dow's still up 255, 285. NASDAQ up 133. S&P up 38. And the bulk of our trades are looking good right now. And look for that adjustment on Apple and the additional adjustment to the Square trade coming up after the close today, and possibly a new spread trade. I think I want to get out of the Apple and Disney trades and maybe one of the two Zoom trades before we add another trade beyond just the weekly one that we try and do on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, I've been talking too long. I'm losing my voice. Have a great day, everyone. See you back here tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.